Today, I have with me Jim Gale from Food Forest Abundance. Jim is actually out there in the field, and he's going to show you exactly what Food Forest Abundance is all about, how it got started, and what they're going to do to help you. Jim, take it away. Tell us about it.
Well, thank you, Greg, and hello to everybody out there. If you want a career helping people grow food and helping people be prepared, then this is it. We at Food Forest Abundance have created a cooperative network. We are possibly one of the fastest growing cooperatives in history. We already have 100 locations around the world. And our mission is to catalyze a shift in consciousness that leads to mass adoption of what I'm going to show you next. And that is food forests everywhere. Planting food forests is a lucrative business. It's a lot like a landscaping business, except for we don't use ornamental plants that only have one or two functions. We use plants that have a multitude of functions, including food production. Now, if you know anything about the food supply chain, you know that it's in big trouble. Long term, it's completely dead. The agriculture systems that we have been teaching in our colleges and universities for the past 50, 60, 70 years are radically destructive and unsustainable. And all unsustainable systems fail. And when you're talking about a system as big as that system, which happens to be controlled, the whole thing, by two corporations who also control a lot of other things that I'm not a big fan of, then the solution to the problem is local regenerative agriculture. And we're going to show you how easy this is right here. So we're at Galt's Landing. We're building an off-grid community in Central Florida where we're demonstrating the validity of everything that has been proven around the world thanks to the permaculture network. All right, so we've got an off-grid situation here. We've got a bunch of raised beds going in the ground, and those are for annual production. Annuals are plants that you plant once, then you harvest and you take the seeds from some of the harvest, or you just go buy new seeds and you plant again. Perennials are our primary focus. We design perennial edible landscapes, and these are bushes and trees and plants that you plant once and that literally produce for generations. In fact, there's an olive tree on the Greek Isle of Crete that has been producing olives for over 2,000 years, right? So imagine planting that tiny seed 2,500 years ago, and people are eating and getting nourishment and habitat 2,000 years later. Isn't that amazing? So what we do is we incorporate natural elements. We mimic and model the best of what nature has provided us, which, by the way, is everything we need to thrive as a society. And then we put those elements together in the permaculture design science. In fact, that's the foundation of our business. Is we have 30 currently, and we had 3 about 9 months ago. Now we have 30 professional food forest designers that it's their job and their joyful obsession to create sustainable food producing systems. And actually not sustainable, regenerative and abundance producing systems. So where I'm walking right now, I'm going to be able to show you how easy this is, because here at Galt's Landing, we have planted about 2,000 feet so far, guys, of what we call agroforestry or syntropic rows. And that's just a fancy way to say rows and rows of food production. We've got about 600 different perennials in the system already, and over 100 different species of food growing. And a lot of people have the belief system that it's hard to grow food. Well, I'm going to blow away that belief system right now. When you plant correctly using these principles, then you can literally leave a food forest for 30 years or for 5,000 years, and you'll come back, and if it's done right, it will be radically expanded and abundant over time. In fact, look this up. The Amazon rainforest was a designed human settlement, a designed food forest 5,000 years ago. And the people left it, and it turned into the Amazon jungle. All right, so here are just a few examples. Now, there's a lot of ways we could do this. We could design this into a landscape where it looks beautiful. It looks just like your standard landscape. The difference is it's going to be a food producing landscape. So this has a different purpose. We've put these rows about 8 feet apart so we can go down the row after they come to fruition and we can start harvesting with ease. We've got 100 strawberry plants and about 50, 60 papaya. We've got moringa, the tree of life. We've got all sorts of different citrus. And here's a strawberry tree. We've got these amazing perennial spinaches and lettuces where, you know, salads are expensive and they're going up radically. You don't have to go buy a salad anymore. Look at the butterfly. You simply plant these plants, moringa leaves. These leaves have more vitamin C than an orange, more potassium than bananas, more calcium than milk, more iron than spinach. It's absolutely incredible. And it tastes phenomenal. And I don't have to do anything. I plant it and then it just keeps growing. Right. And there's all these different types of spinaches. We got papaya coming in. And like I said, over 100 different varieties of food. So what we do at our company is our mission is to serve the food forest cooperative that's on the ground. And a little backstory, I actually spent about $250,000 getting a whole bunch of other documents ready for a major legal structure. And what we did is we decided to toss all those. And now we have a 2-page contract. We are based on the voluntary exchange of value. We are big into freedom and we are big into demonstrating freedom. And my friends, Victor Hugo once said, there's one thing stronger than all of the armies of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. This is the idea. Look at this, Okinawa spinach. It's amazing. It's infinitely healthier than the stuff you're gonna buy at the store. The idea of abundance everywhere. Look at this one. This one's longevity spinach. Look at that. Longevity spinach. They call it longevity spinach because it helps you live a long time. And I just walk around, you want a salad, you pick it from your yard. This is the easiest solution to really mass extinction, deforestation, world hunger, cancer, diabetes, heart disease. All of the forms of disease and disease around the world can be solved when we start using our resources wisely. That's our business model. Our business model is we have created a structure that allows you to become part of the solution, to actually demonstrate and help people be free on every level. It's a lot of fun. Several other relative components. We are putting back in almost all of our profits on a monthly basis to build food forests in public areas, at schools and churches and community centers and food banks all over the world, because it aligns with our bigger vision, our bigger mission. And that is to inspire this shift, be a catalyst for this shift. And again, this is so important. What I'm talking about has been proven all over the world. When we use our resources wisely and start growing food at home, then we become free as a society. So that's the general. Greg, any questions?
Certainly. What we're looking at right now, obviously, it's a great growing area, which is Florida, and you've got a nice big area to do it. What different sizes can you do or would be reasonable?
I love that. So our target market is the suburban backyard, because that's where the closest resource is to our kitchens, right? So that's where there's 40 to 50 million acres of lawn in the United States alone. We have done designs as small as 400 square feet, where we took a couple fruit tree guilds. And a guild is a community of plants that serve and support each other. When you plant using these systems, then the plants will actually do the maintenance for you for the most part. So we can do a small system, a stacked guild that's 400 feet. We've also got resorts in Thailand and big properties in Africa where we're donating designs, and all over the place. So in other words, any size outside that can even be big enough for 1 or 2 fruit trees can become a food forest.
And you say that it's going to keep on growing. You just leave it alone, it keeps on growing. So how do you set up obviously it needs water and sun. Sun's pretty easy, it always comes up, but you need water. How do you set that up so that it's always going to be producing and you never have to worry about it?
Yes, great question. Water is one of the most important components in growing. So in permaculture, we have many different ways to capture and store water. In some of the bigger designs, we'll use swales, which are simply ditches dug on contour. So when it rains, the water comes across your property and it hits one of these little ditches. It could be 1 foot wide and 50 feet long, or it could be 3 meters wide and 5 miles long, right? Is what the intention is of these swales, is to slow the water down so it sinks into your landscape. So that's a good long-term solution. The short-term solution might be watering. It might be going outside every twice a week and turning your sprinkler on and letting your sprinkler water the plants. Now, if you're on city water, we do not suggest that. We would suggest a rain barrel or a water catchment system, which are very easy to do right off of your roof gutters. And that water is going to be a lot cleaner and healthier than the city water typically.
Gotcha. Great idea. That way you're not using up city water and you don't have all that stuff in there that the city puts into their water. That's for sure on that one. Now,
exactly.
A lot of people grow their own gardens. So what would be the advantage of going to you to have them to help them?
We will design a system that is going to have lower maintenance and a higher yield using the permaculture principles. So whether our main mission is to inspire and empower people to grow food, whether you work with us or you just simply go on YouTube, this can be done by anybody, anywhere, anytime. You could even start microgreens on your kitchen counter, right? So what we do though is we have the design process. Design is a big deal because we mimic these natural systems. And instead of having a monoculture, like these are sweet potato leaves. Now, you can see in some cases the bugs have come in. Well, we've created the habitat where now the wasps are our frontline generals. And there's all these beautiful wasps here and they don't bother you. You walk right up to them and you can practically have them land on your hand. They don't bother you at all as long as we don't bother them. So in other words, we use natural solutions. We inspire diversity. We actually design in diversity, which helps then protect the plants. Look at all the peaches coming in. Look at these babies.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
That is.
Yeah. Yes. And now another thing that a lot of people, they say, I'm from Minnesota. Like I'm actually from Minnesota. My mom grew up on a farm. She didn't even have running water or electric till she was 15 years old, and they grew all the food. And they didn't use permaculture, which if they would have, it would have been a lot easier. So my point is you can do this in Minnesota, you can do this in Alaska, you can do this in pretty much any zone around the world. You can have a food forest. And the difference is here in Florida, I can eat all year long. I mean, this is mid-January and we've got incredible amounts of food. In Minnesota, you might have a harvest of 4 to 5 months, but you'll have a radical harvest around August, September, and October. You'll have so much abundance that we can then teach you how to store, how to can, how to dehydrate, and how to preserve those foods.
Well, that's part that I didn't know about. You also teach the canning and preserving of foods as well. So you've got a whole team out there that's going to show you how to just keep that food year round, so you never have to go back to the store.
Absolutely. We've got an incredible team. We've got a whole education division. We've got a marketing division. We are big time out on social media. In fact, I've been invited to be the star of a TV show, and the pilot is done. The producers of the show are the producers of The Crocodile Hunter. They called me up and said, Jim, we want to do a show featuring you and your vision for society. 2 days later, Vincent Chase or Adrian from Entourage, an A-list actor and a very awake and good person, called me up. So we partnered up and we got the pilot done that is going to market. So what we're doing on every level is we are inspiring this shift by getting out to the market and demonstrating how wonderful and how beautiful it is. Look at that pineapple. Isn't that cool?
That is nice. I love it. That is awesome. And so how many people you have on your team now that are going to helping these folks grow in any region in the US?
We have hundreds on our team now. And again, we launched 9 months ago. And in 9 months, we've went from basically one full-time person and 3 part-time people to hundreds of people around the world that are involved, including now we've just brought in 5 more full-time people that are involved in the marketing support, the education support, the installation support. So we'll actually send somebody to do your first install with you, right? Somebody here in Florida or somebody from your region or zone will actually be there on your first install. And when you have the blueprint in hand, which literally layers all of the layers of soil and all of the different elements of the system, it makes it fairly easy where somebody even with no experience in gardening can, there's one of those big wasps. Look at that. See that? Look at that.
Yeah.
And those are my generals. I love those. But yes, we make it basically easy for people to be in the business of helping people grow food.
So do they find that if this is going to be in the long run, this is going to be a lot less expensive than going to the store and buying groceries? Do they need any special equipment to put all this together, or you just utilize what's already in the area?
Hey, the first few installs I did, I bought a wheelbarrow, 2 shovels, and a couple pairs of gloves and some rakes. And I did my first several installs with about $300 of expense. And then I bought a truck. Then I got so busy that I got a crew, and now we've got crews all over the world. And again, that's in basically a year's total period.
That's amazing. That's a lot. It shows that there's a lot of need for this sort of thing. People are really looking to not be dependent on the supply chain, the food supply chain anymore, and basically reduce their carbon footprint by not being dependent upon the big growers. Beautiful strawberry.
Yep. It's the most important thing in the world. I'm certain of it. What we're teaching, what we're doing is the idea whose time has come that is stronger than all the armies of the world, because this literally takes out the control grid when we start controlling our own destiny. It's called self-reliance or freedom of mind. And it's a lot of fun too. Like what we promote is let's have fun with this. Let's enjoy the process. And I tell you what, folks, just standing in an area like this with all this abundance, it feels better. It raises your vibration and your consciousness. And it's a really beautiful thing.
That is amazing. I got to ask one thing though. You mentioned that one of those trees back there was a strawberry tree. I've never heard of such thing.
Yeah, I had not heard of it either. It doesn't grow strawberries, but it grows a fruit that somehow somebody thought it was like a strawberry, so they called it a strawberry tree. But here are some real strawberries.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. So you'll go into anybody's area, anywhere throughout the United States, and you guys will know, the guys and girls will know what grows there, what can be done, and how to make it, how to set everything up, and you'll do the whole setup for them and then show them how to maintain it on a regular basis.
Yes. That's exactly right. We will do the design. Everything starts with the design process. That's number one. And then once the design is in hand, it comes in the form of what we call a food forest landscape blueprint. And it's a 45-page document which layers out all of the details of a food forest and maintenance and care. And then within the document is the customer's custom blueprint.
Cool. So is the customer doing it themselves, or are you going to actually send somebody over there and they're going to work on it until it's completed?
So both can be done. We do the blueprint in such a way where it can be DIY'd, but most people would rather hire somebody to do it. And that becomes the opportunity for the food forest cooperative partner.
Okay. So my people that want to go into business for themselves, this is what they're going to be doing. You're going to teach them how to do it. And then they are going to use your information after you taught them everything, and everybody in their area, their neighborhood, their territory, they're going to then go ahead and teach everybody there. And that's where the business comes in, which is definitely time for it.
Yeah. And our average install is 17 to 20,000. We are going to be the first company that I know of to come to market with a finance option, so people can finance the installation of their food forests. So let's imagine 20,000 being the average install. And it's usually about a 40% margin. Now, that means it's about 8% profit. Our company earns 7% or 12%. We earn 7% if the co-op uses all of our tools and finds their own customer. We charge an extra 5%, which actually goes throughout the co-op network and becomes another profit center. For instance, if somebody in Australia says, hey, I've got a friend in Minnesota who wants a food forest, they get 5% of the gross install cost. So if you're going to do, one food forest install a week, and you're going to average a take home of 6,500 to 7,000, it can be it is a very lucrative business model, and it's scalable. So you can have multiple crews on the ground in your area. And again, we have no contracts, no NDAs, no non-competes, and no patents. Our mission is to put food in the ground and to spread this idea of regenerative capitalism that benefits everybody on every level.
That is an amazing concept, and you are correct. I know I grow up a lot of my own food for many different reasons. One of them is, don't want to be dependent on the store. You want to know where your food comes from and what's going into it, so that you're getting just food, no preservative, no additives, none of that garbage that goes into it. Perfect, Jim.
You nailed it, buddy.
Good deal. How can people get a hold of you, Jim?
Well, I guess they could call you and look, because we have an amazing affiliate network as well. So I guess the best way would be to get a hold of you, and you've got our affiliate details, and then they can get a hold of us. Otherwise, we ask where everybody comes from. And if somebody comes through you, you're in the business of helping people find good businesses. So we love to pay commissions. Very
good, Jim. I will get as many people as I can over to you. I know I'm somebody that loves to grow their own food and likes to know where it comes from, and no mystery hidden ingredients in the food when you grow it yourself.
Yep, that's right, buddy.
Good, Jim. Thank you very much for your time today. Beautiful pictures, great area. I love it.
Awesome, Greg. You have a great day.
You do, Jim. Take care.